Tackling a red tide, Governor Ron DeSantis says Tampa Bay itself appears a little bit cleaner than it did a week ago. And that was no small effort on part of local crews and contractors, many charter fishermen who are out of work, helping to clean up all those dead fish out of canals, out of shorelines. You can see the mess they faced last week. On the right, the red tide blooms are still present, but much fewer dead fish, thankfully. The politics, though, of red tide are in full bloom, and still plenty of questions about ways to reduce the impact of red tide. So we start our coverage tonight with Fox 13's own Lloyd Sowers, who covered the governor's visit to St. Pete today. Hi there, Lloyd. I know he got a first-hand look and probably more than an earful, too.
Yeah, Mark, the governor took a boat ride. He says the red tide on the bay appears to be improving, although there are some spots along the beaches. And the back and forth with St. Pete's mayor continues.
I want to thank everyone for joining with me today. As you see, we've got a lot of heavy hitters here.
Governor Ron DeSantis surrounded by officials and business leaders touting success against red tide.
We've put an immense amount of resources, and just think, had we not done what I did to set the table for this when I first became governor, we wouldn't have been able to do half the stuff that we've been able to do.
DeSantis says he reconstituted the state's red tide task force, steered millions of dollars into research, and is ready to spend millions more on cleanup.
I'm just so impressed with the way that the local government, the county government, and the state government has worked together.
But absent from this group described as heavy hitters was St. Pete's mayor, Rick Kreisman, who is tangled with the governor over his handling of the red tide issue. In a tweet Wednesday, Kreisman said the politicization of the governor's response to red tide is truly sickening.
How did I politicize red tide?
The governor pushing back.
They were the ones who were saying, you're got to declare a state of emergency. And so we asked them why. Well, they didn't know why. They just wanted to do it for a political talking point.
DeSantis says there's plenty of money for cleanup without declaring a red tide emergency.
We represent nearly 1,000 businesses on the beaches, and a state of emergency does not help our economic vitality at all. And what it does is it shines a light on the entire state of Florida.
The governor says he'll back local governments fighting red tide in the bays and on the beaches.